So Pasha is going to track down Deatham. Where would you say Deatham is likely to be chilling
Let's say
out?
this is before he's gone to speak with Balm, so yeah, he'll be down by the lake, I guess, because why not?
Down by the lake. Okay. I think the first thing Deatham notices is that the wind picks up in a kind of a weird way. Like sand starts blowing and it's kind of like it blows that way and then it suddenly like spikes. This is not a natural wind. And over the distance, he sees Pasha coming and he can probably sense mana from her because she is doing things.
Does it seem controlled?
No. I'm gonna go with that. It's like she is in distress.
Okay.
And wind is moving now.
Can I make my own magic check to like try to help like guide that so it's not quite so crazy?
It's
I got entropy,
primal focus.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she's controlling the element, so
That's
it sounds
fair.
like primal.
It's wind weaving.
22 with 4 stun points.
Yeah, you'll be able to help.
Yeah. So you'd Pasha would then feel as maybe Dirtham walks up and heads over. You'd feel another presence, one that seems very advanced, come over and start to like doesn't stop your control, but just molds it so that way it's like going in, say, the direction of the water. So it just does a natural flow. And then he walks up.
It's getting worse. I'm going to say that. It's getting bigger, it's getting more. And if I may be very blunt, I dislike being controlled. I dislike being controlled by something that is coming from inside me. So, I know you said you wouldn't teach me, but if I asked, would you?
Certainly.
Because, and her hand sets on fire. This,
after a second or two, if it wasn't active, then it dims to a small orb instead of her whole hand.
Thank you. It's just rather frustrating. That's what I'm going to go with. And it seems to be keyed into my emotions.
Yes, that is how magic works.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Well, I cannot fix the fact that you have magic, but I can help you at least get a grasp of it.
That would be very much appreciated, Deatham.
I will warn you, it seems like you're a practitioner of Primal, primarily, which is the one school of magic I am not as proficient in. But at the very least, I can help you get started.
Thank you. Thank you. And then they do a montage.
He'll start with like more molding and shaping of the arcane lands because that's like your mage's go-to skill. So it's like, okay, before we learn all this stuff, let's control your basic stuff that's not as risky. So go through that for a little bit, and then he says, okay, we'll move on to more primal stuff, and he'll have you do like small things that just let you slowly get control. Maybe there's one time when it's like could be catastrophic, but he helps prevent that because he has dispel magic. So whenever something goes haywire, he just goes beep and dispels it. And also, this is to Hark. I have Electric Trap, which is a primal spell. Go through the whole montage and very much start to slowly learn the ways of magic.
Hey.
And unless Pasha brings anything up, he will just help guide her and not talk about any other possibly distressing or not so distressing things.
Pasha, I think there's an undertone of Pasha wants to say something, because I like to imagine every so often the wind picks up and then it goes. It's like, something has clearly upset, gotten under her skin. I don't know. But
And yeah, and then maybe after the training session, when she's like more exhausted and the wind isn't quite so intense, he'll say, if you want to say something or feel like speaking, I'm always here to listen.
Rousseau came to me with I don't exactly know what to call it. If I go back to the Kuhn, he is Talvashoth and dead to me from his perspective. I disagree with that. He is my son. He will always remain here. Always. Whether he feels it or not, he is stuck there. I love him. But if I do not go back to the Kuhn, I feel like I have failed.
Why?
After what Tyrion did in Tevinter, it reminded me of why the Kuhn is necessary. And in that moment, I never felt so certain as I wanted to go back home. I saw beautiful things out here, and they did turn my head, I can admit that. They were very tempting. But I must go back. I want the Kuhn to be better. I want my children to be safe. If I abandon them, then how have I accomplished that?
You can see Dertham's thinking, and he has thoughts. And he goes, okay, to go through everything, in terms of you must go back, that isn't true, but it is true that you want to. You desire to, which could be the same thing. In your view, that desire is a must. Though no one's requiring you to go back. Well, the Kuhn is, but that still is your choice to go back or not. As for abandoning your children, I don't fully know how the Kuhn works in details. From what you've told me and what I've heard, it seems like another Tamazran would take over their tutelage and raising them. So, in some ways, that would be abandoning them. Yet, they would still have a mother's not the right word because you don't really have mothers. A guide. Maybe you feel that it wouldn't be as good a guide as you would be. They would still have one, though it can very well still be abandoning. I think we've spoken on this a few more times in the past. Why is the Kuhn necessary?
Because I believe without it, people like Tyrion, who can't control their emotions, who act entirely on impulse with potentially catastrophic effects for countless other people. I don't even know how many slaves there are in Tevinter, but their lives could potentially be affected because he decided to do what he did. And he didn't even really decide to do it, from what I gather. He just snapped and off he went. It is my people. We do have a violent streak. The people at the Chi Islands disagreed, but I have been around Kunari my entire life. We do have a violent streak. We have that inner energy. Well, I don't. I'm human, but the Kunari do. At the same time, I feel like the Kuhn could be better. The Kuhn could do better if only it's tried.
Well, I agree with you. The Qn can do better. I think, to be quite frank, anyone and anything can always do better. I mean, if we become gods, we're not going to be perfect. We're going to be fallible creatures who just have a lot more power than everyone else. So everyone can do better, and I definitely agree. It is quite a commendable goal to go after that. I will point out one thing. You say Tyrion acts on impulse, and the Qn controls that impulse. Did you not do something quite similar when you used blood magic?
I know.
So, if the Qn is supposed to control impulse, and granted, it was far less all encompassing as Tyrion's actions were and their consequences, but it was still, as far as I'm aware, if if a choice, one made out of emotion and impulse rather than one of complete logic, as you didn't even know if it would be successful. It was a slim chance that, assuming you were not a god, would have cost you your life should you have gone back. So the Qn seems like an imperfect solution. You're probably one of the most fervent believers in it. And to be quite frank, I don't think, at least this is my opinion, impulses are going to happen no matter what. There's, unless you are a tranquil or a, what do you call them, Vidath Bas?
Vidath Bas, yes.
Unless you remove a creature's soul, their emotion, their very being, their ability to think, you will never have a system that controls impulses perfectly. So at the end of the day, I suppose it's just a question of what is best for that individual. I said it to Nathan uh, when I apologized to him. He said, "Don't be sorry, be better." But just because I will be better doesn't mean I can't be sorry. Everyone needs to find their own truth, and the only thing I object to with the Qn is the fact that, as far as I know, they believe their truth to be the absolute truth, and that is an outright lie.
As I said, the Qn can be better. I think I could make it better. Also, 2 points. I'm a hypocrite. I'm well aware of that. I would do anything for my children. Turns out anything is a lot more than I originally thought. 2, I would like to believe that me using my blood to bring Daniel back was a lot better than me randomly taking a knife and stabbing a man in a bathtub.
I very much agree. Just the base principle of acting on impulse was very similar there. But as I said, it was less catastrophic in its results.
I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm doing. Russo wouldn't believe that. Absolutely wouldn't take that. Oh well.
I suppose I just have one question for you.
Okay.
Well, multiple little questions wrapped up in one theme. Is this conclusion, this decision, something you have made based off the Qn, based off your own beliefs, or based off the Qn, based off what you have discovered here, or based off your own combination of all? What exactly made you decide to do this?
A combination of what I have seen and I think my own morality. That's what I'd go with. What I have seen and what I feel.
I'm gonna make an empathy check, and I just want to see if, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but if Pasha, like, if it seems like Pasha is lying to herself, or if she's like, no, this is the thing. So 18.
Pasha is not lying, and she seems very certain.
Okay. And he'll kind of look her in the eye, and then you see a small smile. Then, at least from my point of view, you have my support.
Thank you.
And I won't speak for Rousseau, but I can theorize. I'd imagine at least part of his ultimatum is coming from a place of love and not wanting to lose you.
If he'd only trust me, he'd know that he wasn't going to.
Emotions don't always work with trust.
Isn't that just the case?
But at least for me, no one's forcing you to do this. It is your own choice. And even if it is from a warped perspective, frankly, everyone's is. So as long as you aren't lying to yourself, I've already accepted that after we finish dealing with Magister Siderials, it might be the case that you effectively die. And I will say goodbye to a good friend. But I've recently had a lot of experience in saying goodbye to the people I love. With my wife and my sister. I don't see them as much anymore. I still think of them and dream of them, but I've accepted that what happened happened and they're gone. And frankly, I did that with you as well.
Pasha doesn't say anything. She just kind of puts her hand on Deatham's shoulder in a solidarity, friendship kind of thing. And she's going to start humming the thing that Athon was humming earlier, the war song, the Dalish war song. And can we just say that they continue the montage?
Yeah, and
they
actually, when Pasha puts her hand on Dertham's shoulder, he'd actually just smile and then bring her in for a hug.
Hey, friendship! Yay!
Okay. And montage continues.
Cool.
Can we please get like a VHS commercial of like Dertham being like, "This is how you learn magic," and start montaging? Like it's a VHS box set you can buy.
Magic.
Hi, my name's Dertham Delane. I've read my own program. I've read my own self-help book on how to become a mage in 12 easy steps.
He has his own manuscript. It's called the Dertham Learning of Magic.
I really hope as part of the montage is them going up Cedric's stairs and Dertham just being like, "Oh God, no!" And Pasha's just like, "This is my jam. I was built for this."
It's like, no, because Pasha sees that Dertham's strength is 0. She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna pay you back," and he's like, "No."
And then like when it goes to testimonials of other people that have bought it, it's just dead dark spawn laying everywhere.
Little dark spawn, and it did.
So we're about with Balin will be playing with Arabella and Amaya, right?
Yeah, they're at the beach right now, and they're playing and they're kind of splashing in the water together. And Mai and Tai are also there. I think Mai and Tai right now are nearby, like just watching the kids, and they're making some sort of sandcastle. Oh, hello, Rousseau, Mai says.
Oh.
Looking chipper today, Tai says.
I had some good news, and said something I needed to get off my chest for a while.
Oh, I love when you're able to do that. Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to not keep things bottled inside, although it is really convenient when you have somebody attached to you that you could always talk to. Yeah, but that also means that because you're always attached to the other person, you don't get to have that many secrets. They say back and forth.
I could see how that would work for you two.
They said, "We've been having a lot of fun playing with your son." Yeah, he has a really great imagination.
Oh, he has the best. Is he making a triple-decker sandcastle again?
He was sort of showing us like some techniques with the sand. Yeah, he said that he's been spending a lot of time practicing here at the beach over the last few weeks.
Well, if you don't mind, I want to take some time to hang out with him. It's been a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't let us stop you. But it's good chatting with you, Rousseau. I wish we had a chance to chat with you more.
Same. Hopefully we'll get more soon.
And they will nod and just give you a wave as you head towards Balin, who right now is splashing Arabella in the face, and Arabella's just laughing.
He's gonna just take a moment and just enjoy them playing, and then we don't need to RP it out simply for the sake of time. But I feel like Russo would have played with Balin for a little while.
Yeah. That was fun, Daddy. Thank you for coming and playing with us.
I know. I really wish I could be here more, Balin.
How long? You're not leaving right now, are you?
Oh, no. I don't plan on leaving again anytime soon. I have one thing that I will have to do eventually, but after that, I'm gonna be around.
Oh, good. So, what do you want to do now, Daddy?
Well, I've got some very good news for you. I'm gonna say that Russo's kind of like kneeling down, so he's only like a little bit taller than Balin. I just wanted to let you know that Miss Violet is going to be staying with us permanently.
To be my teacher?
Yes, but also as your mother.
I'm gonna get a mommy? Daddy, that's... Thank you, he says as he goes up to you and he wraps his arms around his waist.
I'm glad you're happy about it.
Violet is gonna be an amazing mommy. She also already has been teaching me a lot about things, and she's really, really nice.
Yeah, and then I've got other news for you too. In about a year or so, you might be a big brother.
How?
You'll figure it out when you get older.
Oh, she says, wow, I'm gonna be a big brother. I don't know how to be a big brother.
Well, you'll have plenty of time to figure it out.
I can teach them magic, maybe.
I suppose, if they're connected to the Fade.
He looks very excited right now. And he says, we should celebrate. Can we get, like, some ice cream over at the food court, maybe?
I think I have a better thing that'll help you celebrate.
Even better than ice cream?
Yes.
What's better than ice cream? Arabella says. She seems very, like, she doesn't seem very convinced that there's such a thing.
It's not better, but it's very much something that gets to stay with you much longer than ice cream.
Arabella's thinking hard, but she can't think of anything yet. She seems still skeptical, but she's just gonna feel like, oh, okay, just one of those things that adults kind of say, that I'm just gonna nod and smile and say, okay, Mr. Alren, whatever you say, Mr. Alren.
I think me and you are gonna get to go see Mr. Athon, and you're gonna get to pick out a pet, Balin.
I get to pick out a pet? Can I have a Bronto? He says. One that doesn't throw me off his back and make me, like, land in the mud?
We'll see what he has available.
Oh boy, this is the best day ever! He says that he goes up to you and, like, wraps his arms around you again in a hug.
Russo's gonna give him a big old hug. And Balin, I just want you to know when all of this is over, I'm never leaving you again.
You know what, Daddy? I believe you.
Good. Now let's go see Mr. Athon.
Oh, wait. Before we do, he runs over and he grabs Overruled. And then he comes over and follows.
Yes, you're gonna need that in case of any fearsome beasts hop out of the path.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. But I don't want to hurt any of them, I just want to stun them.
I think they'd appreciate that.
You'll walk over, and I'm going to say that Athon already has some of the challah, and I think he might have maybe like a bottle, and he's trying to feed like one of the smallest ones, who seems to need some assistance since it's so small it actually still can't quite compete with its siblings in, having getting to the mother when it's feeding time. So
And then
he's got
out of character, I was gonna let Balin pick whatever, so long as it just doesn't grow huge.
Yeah. So I think Balin is going to look around and he's really excited, but I think his eyes do land on the smallest one because it is the cutest one, arguably the smallest one. And its coat is a pretty unique because it's sort of like got some, I wouldn't call them spots, but it's got a very unique like brown, soft spotted pattern, I will say. Can I have that one? Speckles. Yes, thank you, Speckles.
Athon, may he hold her?
Sure, he says. Just be very careful now. Be very gentle. I'll be gentle. Violetta taught me all about self-control, he says very proudly. And he's just going to go and cradle the Hala as the Hala starts licking his cheeks a little bit. That tickled.
Russo's just gonna put his hand on Balin's shoulder. I think she's taking a liking to you.
So I really can keep this one?
Yes, but I want you to understand, Balin, that this is a big responsibility, especially considered that Hala is meant to be raised and treated as an equal, not as a pet, not as a servant. You are to care for it as though we're another sibling.
I also should mention, Balin, Athon says that at least in the Dalish clan, the Kala are considered to be respected such that we never ride on them and we never ask them to pull wagons or become a pack mule of any sort. That's okay. I wouldn't want to do that either if I was a Hala, he said.
Then I think you can absolutely keep her, Balin.
I have to come up with a name then, he says as he starts snuggling. This is going to be very important. Maybe I should ask Mr. Daretham for some ideas. He's really smart.
I think Daretham would appreciate that.
He's just going to continue, snuggling the Hala, and I think Athon's going to show him how to feed a bottle to the Hala.
And Russo will very privately take Athon to the side while Balin's having his little moment. Two things, Athon. Really sorry about budging in earlier.
We were in the middle of a very deep conversation, but I could sense that you had a lot that you needed to speak to Pasha about.
Yeah, and she's probably not going to be very happy with me from here on.
Well, I would like to believe, based on how I've observed your relationship with her, I'd like to believe that will only be temporary.
Yeah. Pretty much I flat out said how I felt about the Qun and if she went back.
Well, I actually was doing the exact same thing with her just before you dropped in.
Then, by all means, I think you should finish that conversation with her. I just wanted to let you know that that was what was talked about, because I've seen how close the two of you have gotten.
He will nod. I told her that I would not like her to go back to the Qun if it were up to me, if it was my decision.
I get that. Now, I know money should never be traded over a hollow, as sacred as they are, but I do know you do have overhead costs and everything else and taking care of the rest.
He says, Russo, there's everything that I need to take care of the Hala has already been provided for me. You don't have to give me anything.
I know, but I'd prefer to.
I suppose if you do, I can't stop you, and I may put it towards something that may benefit the circus, if that's Okay.
Once it's yours, it's your choice, whoever you want. But I don't believe in just taking, and you've done a lot for Pasha. So with that, Russo will pull out his coin purse and pull out like the remaining, like, not remaining, but like 30 of his like 40 silver left.
He'll carefully take the coins, and he'll just stash it away. I heard that you ran into your brother in the Anderfells.
I did.
And I also heard that it didn't quite go the way that you envisioned it, or is that not true?
No, I gave up on killing Corin many years ago. I was kind of accepting of I might have to at some point. How it ended up going was I kind of saw how much worse things had been for Corin and figured that the people he's hurt worse than me deserve to be the one that give his final punishment, even if it means I never have my resolution.
I didn't have any biological siblings myself, but back in the Dalish clan, I saw them as my brothers and sisters, and I was very close to them. And ultimately, I had to leave because there were many things about our clan that I disagreed with, and we were never able to resolve those disagreements. I do think about them from time to time, but I admit I never was able to bring myself to go back. And I don't know if I ever will. And I too am not sure if things that are unresolved with my Dalish brothers and sisters will ever be resolved.
I've always seen it as much as you try to make a perfect portrait or drawing, there's always pieces that don't connect or don't work and don't ever form right. But that imperfectness is just something that we accept and maybe come to love, come to hate, but it's always gonna be there.
So if you don't mind me asking then, Rousseau, if I were to ask you for some advice, would you or would you not tell me to go seek out my clan?
I would say if you really feel you have to, do it. But don't have any expectations for how it's gonna go.
If I was being honest, currently at this stage of my life, I'm very content, more than content. I have a family now, a new family in the circus, and things with Pasha, for the time being, today are going well. I don't know what the future holds in terms of her decisions, obviously. But for right now, I'm very content. So at this moment, I don't feel like it's necessary. I was just thinking if years and years and years down the line, if I was on my deathbed, would I look back on this part of my life now and wonder the what ifs?
I do see the value in that, but at the end of the day, a what if can only be a what if.
Wise words. Thank you, Rousseau.
No problem.
I'm glad that we had a chance to chat. I've missed those back when you and I were in our wagon together.
Yeah, things have gotten pretty hectic, more so than I ever really wanted.
And might I say, I really have always admired your relationship with your son. I always wanted a child of my own. I suppose me taking care of the animals in the circus has been a way for me to somewhat fulfill that.
I won't sugarcoat it. Balin was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I'd probably have gone down a much darker path had he not. But, like you said, Athon, children aren't the ones that you have of your own. They're the ones that you actually care for. And take it from a guy who's had his family ripped out from him about 2-3 times now. You make do with what you've got.
Understood. He'll give you a pat on the shoulder and he'll say, I know that the final battle with your group will be coming soon. Know that even though I will not physically be there with you, my thoughts and prayers will be with you.
I'll take that for all it's worth, Athon. And because I've had such respect for you and vice versa, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know I don't intend on ascending with others when this is over. I think I might just let it go entirely.
I respect that. Good for you, Rousseau.
You too. Now let me go make sure he's still doing that right. Then he kind of just turns around and be like, "What's he doing?"
Yeah. Yeah, he's holding the hall upside down. Look at it.
Balin, no.
He's doing a trick. Balin, no. We talked about this. Okay, cool. Nice. Beautiful scene. We haven't had an Athon and Rousseau scene in a while, so I love that.
Can I just say, Deatham, you know what do. Hannah Navarra. Name the hammer, Hannah Navarra.
Hannah Navarra.
You know what to do, Deatham.
The thing
Hannah
is,
Navarra.
Darren is not me. And unfortunately, that is out of character.
Ooh, how dare.
I wish I could help you.
Hannah
I wish.
Navarra.
But Darren is not that cruel. I am sorry.
Oof.
But
Well,
then they need
makes
an
sense.
alter ego.
Not an alter ego.
Okay, what has to happen? Leon, you have to bloodslave Darthun, and then that way you can actually make him say Han Navarre, okay? You gotta make sure that happens.
Oh, yes. Or have like the unintended consequences work in my favor. Tell a story about a ghost who whatever he hears. Like, what should I name a new Hala? Hannah Navarra.
Like Darthun just says the name, but out comes Hannah Navarra, and I'm like, wait, no, that was wrong. No.
Tyrion is sort of walking around is gonna walk around, like he's gonna see there, and he's gonna sort of see the go up to Rousseau wherever he sees him, alone.
Sure.
He doesn't want to interrupt him.
I mean, I'm gonna be playing with Balin until it's time to go.
Okay.
So he's probably back at the beach, honestly.
Rousseau, apologies for interrupting you. Might have a moment, not too long.
Absolutely. Balin, you be careful. I'll be right back.
Hello, Balin. I sort of give a wave to him.
Hi, Tyrion. Guess what? I got a new... He stops himself from saying pet. I got a new friend.
Ooh.
I'm still trying to think of a name for her, though, but she's a Hala.
Oh, aha. Well, give her a good name, because she's gonna be with you for most of your life.
Do you have any ideas for a good name?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just gonna give a very judgmental look.
He's gonna give him the look.
I mean, there are many names you can give her, but continue to destiny.
What? What name?
Well, I heard. This is so weird for me, but I heard Tyrion. It could also be used for both male and female. So, if you wish.
Tyrion's a very interesting name. I will add that to the list, he says. Maybe she'll be a doctor for other Halas, he says.
Maybe.
But she needs to get her certification first.
I think you mean certification, Balin.
Certification, yes.
Yes. He'll need her certification first.
Absolutely, because you never want to do business without it.
That's what Miss Violetta says, at least.
But I suggest for a name, you can ask anyone else, but that's just my suggestion. Anyway, young Balin, good meeting you, and good luck with your new friend.
Thank you. And he'll go back to playing.
Yeah, I sort of go back. I don't want to take a lot of your time. You have your son and all. I actually wanted to speak with Pyrrhus, if that's not an issue. Is that a problem?
No, but what I've said to Leon, I now feel like I have to reiterate to you.
Is he going to the Templars?
I'm opting for probably just telling Cedric than him being destroyed when this is over.
I see. I understand.
I mean, we're already fixing enough like blood magic fuck ups from like 1300 years ago. Don't need any more.
Yeah, we don't need more. Yes. I know. I understand. As much as he's my ancestor and all, there's nothing I can. No word of mine can save him, or at least keep him safe. It's the best option, but can I at least have a word with him?
I don't see why not. And Russo will pull him out the jacket. He's been adversely quiet over the last like few days, but here you go.
Oh, I just pulled up. Ah, thank you. Sort of looks at him. I won't be far. I just want
just bring it back when you're done. And Russo will turn back and keep playing with Balin and the girls.
Yeah. I'm gonna look around for like essentially a secluded place, or like it's somewhere where like no one will probably like actually. So I'll wherever is a good place, wherever he's been stationed to sleep or like rest.
Sure.
So he's gonna go there. He's gonna put Pyrus.
Honestly, you'll probably will have the guest houses by the food court available, so you all are like would relatively be close together. So let's just put you there.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So
yeah.
Just for consistency's sake. So let's say you're like right there or something.
Stealth check so Master Ignaldo doesn't hear the talking.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I got like a plus something, so
just don't botch.
Yeah.
I'm the DM now. Do it.
Here, 18. I got Shatner.
You fail.
You go into the guest house that's assigned to you, and what happens?
I sort of like I'm gonna put him where he's like I don't know, either he's resting, and I'm sort of gonna take a seat on the bed. Like I put him on the bedside table. Paris.
Oh, it's you. Where's the Lorian?
He's out playing with his son, and some other kids. Busy.
How sweet. What can I do for you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm as fine as can be, I suppose. It's been a little lonely, if I was being completely honest. Nobody has tried to speak to me before you at least, for quite some time. And you know Rousseau, he's not really the talkative type, which is very ironic considering that his occupation is all about speaking and communicating.
Well, his version of speaking is the law, so maybe that's his proficiency, and maybe that's why he might speak in that area a lot, but I know the man well enough. He's got a lot of things to go through. But he also told me that you also have been talking a lot. You've been utterly quiet. Now, that could be a reason because Bruce doesn't talk, or maybe something else happened.
I haven't been the same since I was taken from Theon's possession. I used to be a lot more talkative back then.
Oh, yes, I know. Talking about, with Leon about blood magic and possibly putting us on a list, I think.
Well, Tyrion, how would you feel if you were suddenly taken away from your he was about to say friend, but it's like student, pupil, he says. How would you feel if you were suddenly taken away from them?
Bad, quiet.
Well, that probably answered your question then.
Very well. Touché. I heard from Leon, though, that about your revelation.
My revelation? What revelation?
About you. About you being, what you are and all.
Oh, that I happen to be your ancestor, your great. I don't know
There's
how
about
many.
there's about 20 greats, I think, before me. I my guess.
Well, and why wouldn't there be that much greatness within this book?
Yes, you are a big book. Excuse me. Actually, not specifically that. As much as we can talk about I can tell you my history and all my family and all that. Actually, it was about what you are right now.
A big book?
Well, a big book.
I like big books, and I cannot lie.
Yes, I can understand that. It was really odd why I haven't perused other books. So, but I guess as being a book yourself, you can do that. Can you speak to books actually, to a certain degree, or can you like look at the book and then you know what's inside? No, no. Okay.
Don't be ridiculous, Tyrion. I cannot speak to other books unless those other books happen to be sentient as well. Why, do you know any other sentient books? Are you about to play matchmaker just like that Pasha girl's trying to play matchmaker with that?
No, I'm terrible
beast.
at I'm terrible at matchmaking.
I would think so, with everyone that's been throwing themselves at you, Tyrion, left and right. I would think you would be horrible at matchmaking.
Well,
I know I'm not getting any dating advice from you.
Well, let's just say I carry a big baggage on me, and
Would you like to go on a date in the Death City or whatever? The
look,
Necropolis?
that was a mistake. I'm young.
Yes, I know, and I'm not going to let you forget about it.
Of course you aren't, because you're a book, and you hate me, it seems, or you tolerate me, or you're indifferent to me.
I don't hate you, Tyrion. I scratched you off of my list a while ago. You're no longer, at least, someone I want to kill right away.
Good to know.
Good. So we're friends now.
Well, technically, you are my ancestors, so really, I mean, this is gonna be weird.
Yes.
This is gonna be weird. But
Like I said, I have no desire of killing you anytime soon.
good. I like that. Don't want to be dead, really. But it was what I talked about with Leon was the more I guess I have to say bluntly about you being a person or a tool. That whole shenanigan.
Well, I am not a person, I am a tool.
Are you though?
I am a book.
I mean, yes, you are a book. I know that, but you're a book that talks. You're a book that has knowledge. You're a book that still remembers your past. I mean, yes, you're still a book, but I are something else than just a book with knowledge.
I know I used to be a person, yes. And I have memories from back then, but that person has long been dead for centuries, Tyrion.
I guess I can understand your point on that, but if you aren't, I mean, if you say that you're not that person anymore, then you still speak, you still have your voice, you still have your personality.
Yes.
Without personality, you're not a person, but you have a personality. You are a person, if I'm correct. I could be wrong on that.
Well, I mean, let's say you have a boat, and over time you replace parts of the boat, and over time, maybe after many years, is the boat that you have after replacing everything still the original boat? You still can call it a boat, but is it still the same boat that it was when it started?
I am Tyrion Seedoff, but it doesn't mean I'm the same Tyrion Seedoff since the last few months. People change. Things also change, yes, but people do change. They develop over time. We change our beliefs. We change our views. We all change. Tell me this then. When you were teaching Leon about blood magic and all, I mean, yes, he was your student, but did you have feelings for him? As in, you
Feelings for him?
not the feelings you think. No, not the feelings you're thinking about. But you cared for him. Am I correct? He was your student. He was learning from you.
I didn't want him to die anytime soon, if that's what you're asking me.
Yes, I can understand why you don't want them to die. No one wants to die. No one wants people to die around them.
I very much wished for his personal safety and well-being. Yes.
I sort of stare at Pyres for a bit.
What's your point, Tyrion?
My point is a person with feelings, a person who feels, is a person. As is what they are. You do have feelings for people. I mean, if you say I was on a list and the people who were on your list, you hated them, you probably you didn't like them, I imagine. Or maybe not, I don't know. My point is, what you are a person. Yes, you can say you are an object. But do you want to know who is actually an object? Who isn't a person, you can say, to a certain degree, even though he walks, talks, and does things? My father.
I heard about that, yes. And your father is a descendant of mine as well.
I am sad for what happened to him. And I wish he was still around. And he is, just not. He doesn't remember me or.
Yes. And this may sound very harsh, Tyrion, but just like myself, the man who used to be your father, he's dead now.
Yes. I know. I know he's dead. I can't change that. Even after bringing him here, I knew there was no point.
I'm not really sure what you're trying to accomplish with this conversation, Tyrion, if I was being honest. Are you trying to make me feel guilty or feel bad
Guilty?
about
No,
my fate?
no, you're not. I'm not trying to make you guilty. Just, I guess, understanding. That's maybe I'm just implying myself terribly. Even if you are a thing, you're still Pyrrhus. You're still you, with your knowledge, your tone, views, and how will I say this? A list of people you like and don't like. You are unique. You are what you are, and you may say to yourself you are a tool, and to a certain degree, yeah, but doesn't mean you always have to be just a tool.
I know what my fate's going to be, Tyrion. I'm sure that you heard Russo say so himself. He's going to be turning me over to the Templars when all of this is done, and he is going to probably have me destroyed. So why are you going to try to suddenly make me consider myself a person and suddenly start thinking about my feelings and make this entire process that much more difficult for me when it happens?
He sits there quietly.
I thought as a doctor you're supposed to make things better, not worse. He suddenly snaps at you.
For your case, it's a difficult one. I guess.
Have you... Let me ask you this, Tyrion. As a doctor, have you ever actually had to tell somebody that they're dying or that they're going to die? That there's no way that you can cure them, that is what's going to happen to them? Have you ever had to have that conversation with someone?
He sort of thinks that he tries to, as he looks back, I'm trying to remember myself, and he says, well, only one. You. And you are going to go away. And of course, I can't change anything because no one can.
So why are you trying to add even more of a burden to my thoughts, my psyche, and my feelings? I've already accepted my fate. Why are you trying to make me feel like a person again before I get destroyed? Why? What good do you think that's going to do for me?
Tyrion sort of He sort of closes his eyes to think for a bit, and he sort of opens his eyes. Because as much as you are a burden, sometimes, you are also help.
Well, I appreciate that. It still doesn't change anything. And it still doesn't actually address my question. What good is that actually going to do for me? I'm aware of the secret that you have right now, the knowledge that you have about what really happened with Leon's parents. I'm also aware that you haven't said anything to Leon yet about it. Is it because you feel that telling him the actual truth is going to do more damage than help? Or do you really think that telling him the truth is actually going to do any good for him?
Because if I tell him what is the truth, my fear is he'll be more damaged than it'll damage him more.
Exactly. My question is, why do you not think that that same thing is happening with me right now, with the conversation we're having?
He sort of closes his eyes. Maybe because I'm still naive, thinking I could do something. Of course I can't. I guess you're one of the first persons that, at least, even though you are who you are, you're someone in my bloodline, someone who I'm afraid of. I guess afraid for what will happen to them. But you're you're the first person that I cannot do anything about.
So, I'm confused. Are you
Apologies.
trying to save me, or are you not trying to save me?
I don't know. Apologies.
Would it make you feel better if I wasn't destroyed?
I'm not so sure. Because on the one hand, I understand why they want to destroy you. On the other, something's holding me back, but I can't describe it well. Feeling.
If you're wondering about what I want, Tyrion, do I want to be destroyed? No, absolutely not. I would very much wish to continue. Leon has been a fine companion to me for the past several months, and seeing that end is not something that I would desire.
However,
and he certainly is a lot more fun than Lawyer is, let me tell you.
Well, Leon is. He does have a imaginative mind.
I am going to be destroyed for simply being what I am. I was just doing my job. And he takes his he basically takes his bookmark, his ribbon bookmark, and he does the quotes. He does the quotes with the bookmark. Yeah. I was just doing my job. I was just doing what I was created to do, and that was my purpose. And I'm being destroyed for it. Do I believe that's just? No. But I can't do anything about it. I can't really do anything about it. The only ones that can do anything about it is, well, all of you all.
He nods. Just one curious question about our history. Our past lives.
Go right ahead.
Why were you taken? I mean, I understand the reasoning of, enslavement and all that, but
why was I taken for the ritual, you mean?
Not the ritual, no. Before slavery. When you were enslaved.
Why was I taken? For slaves?
You, your family.
The honest answer that I could only think of is because I was there, Tyrion. I was there. They needed slaves. I was an elf. So they took me. Does there need to be a greater reason than that? As far as the magistrate was concerned, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you know why your family was taken? I can almost guarantee you it's because they were there.
Well, to be honest, my family has always been slaves. And if you were also a slave, just like your son was a slave, and that line continued. I'm pretty much a bloodline of slavery. The Tyrion family line.
We are tools, Tyrion. But from what I've heard, you probably have the greatest potential to break that cycle. And you have broken that cycle.
Not in the best way, but yes, I did.
I'm not necessarily sure if you broke the cycle for some of the other slaves into Winter, but
No,
you at least did it for
definitely not.
yourself.
But, well, I'm not too happy about it. Sure, I'm free and, I did it, it's done. Trusted my guts on it. But
Well, if you were to take some of my advice, Tyrion, I think that you could do so much more than just liberating yourself. I think you have the potential and an opportunity at the end of this, if you decide to ascend or not, to make things right and possibly undo some of the wrongs that you did in the past. I do not have such an opportunity. But even if I were to be destroyed, I at least would love to have the comfort of knowing that something that came from me eventually did.
there's a smile on Tyrion, which is probably one of the first times that Pyre has ever seen. It's not like it's a genuine smile. If I ever make that choice, then I hope that you will be pleased with what I did.
I hope so too. I have one request.
Ask away.
If I am to be sent over to the Templars, I request that I at least have one final conversation with my pupil before I am sent off.
Russo is keeping you, but I can try to at least tell him that.
Good. Oh, and actually, I will save that for later. He says.
He's gonna look to Sir Pyrrhus and he's gonna say, one thing, only once and I'll be gone.
Very well.
When the Templars take you to destroy you, do you need me there to see you go, to cross into the Fade? Would you like me to be there to at least see you off?
Yes.
He nods. Then I will do my best that request is done. As he picks up Pyrrhus, goes back to Russo. Russo.
Yes, Tyrion.
He sort of hands Pyrrhus back. Pyrrhus asks for one thing before he goes back and all. He wants to at least talk to Leon.
Sure, all he had to do was ask. He's never said a damn thing to me this whole time.
And there is, I guess, a small request from me. If they ask for Pyrrhus, I'll take him there. I'll see him off.
Okay.
Can I just say, I love this idea of like Pyrrhus, like he's about to be burned, like Tyrion is holding Pyrrhus's bookmark, and then in the background, just Pasha going, "Burn, demon book, burn!"
There's
nice.
So there's Leon and Tyrion dressed in all black coveralls, and they're just ready to they're gonna burn Pirates, and then in the background, we just see a Pasha going, "Yes, destroy the demon book,
bright yellow,
burn it down."
So you're saying that I could have had a Pyrrhus romance this whole time?
Yes, kiss the book.
Yep.
Okay, we now know what has to happen in Endgame. It is entirely based on the
Leon Pyrrhus.
Pyrion.
No, it's like a
Is-
whole love triangle where Leon's at the center.
Lyrion.
Love diamond, where it's
Yes,
Rosie,
yes.
Leon, where it's Rosie, Tyrion, and Pyrus.
And then we
That's
also
right.
don't forget that we have the Leon Tyrion Tumble love triangle. We got to make
Oh,
sure that one's
That's
included.
true.
in.
Mhm,
Oh
yes,
no!
that's true.
Oh no! That's interesting.
Yeah, the endgame characters Tyrion and Tumble and Leon and Pyrus. That is now canon. That's what you can expect in endgame, guys.
I feel